In order to leave your 9 to 5 and pursue the, I like to call it an adventure of having your own business, especially an online business, in order to do that, you have to have some forethought. And looking back, if I could do anything different, I would have thought things out and, mapped things out a little bit better than what I did. I don't have any regrets of quitting my job and starting my own business. I just could have made the whole transition smoother, and I could have moved from being an employee to being an entrepreneur, a successful entrepreneur, in a much smoother manner. Probably the first thing I would have done is I would have either done two things, one of two things. I would have gave it more serious thought 6 months before I actually pulled the trigger, or once I made the decision that I was going to actually start my own business, I would have decided to do it for a year, to actually build my business on the side for a year as I worked my job. Now, the reason for that, again, is twofold. First of all, I would have thought in terms of having my own business and working my job. I would have thought of it as one feeding into the other. I would have used my job to motivate me to work even harder in my business. And I would have looked at my job as a way of really sustaining me and giving me a lot of the investment capital and a lot of flexibility to build my business. So that's kind of the two ways I would have looked at it. Going back and looking at it all again, I would have done it a little bit differently. And here's why. Because when I quit my job, I wasn't in necessarily a bad position. I had investments and I had money saved up, so I had a little bit of a nest egg. I had some cushion, so it gave me about a 6 to 8 month runway to really take off and build my business. However, here's the thing: when I quit, I had some general ideas of what I wanted to do, but I wasn't very specific in my mind of exactly what I wanted to do. So during that time, I think about 3 to 4 months, I was still trying to really hone in on what it is I wanted to do. And it took me another 3 or 4 months before I decided, okay, this is exactly what I want to do. Well, by that time, I didn't have enough of a cushion left to really go all out at it. So I had to go back and do some side gigs to kind of keep things going and keep money coming in while I continue to hone in on what it is I was really wanting to do, and then to nail down an income stream. And it was just a few spinning plates that, looking back, if I didn't have to do that, I think I would have even took off even faster once I did get a good grasp on what it is that I wanted to do. So I say all that to say this. My advice to you would be to give it thought while you're at your work, while you're at your job. Give it a lot of thought. Come up with a good blueprint, a good game plan, and then start working your plan even before you quit your job. And the thing is, your business does not take as many hours as your 9 to 5 job does. That's a no-brainer that people put out there, and they'll say things like, work your business just as hard as you work your job. Well, you may work it just as hard, but you don't have to use as many hours. What I found is you can do just as much work in 4 hours on your business that you would normally spend in an 8-hour day at your job. And a lot of time at your job, I'll just say at my job, a lot of times when I was at my job, a lot of time was wasted on things where they just needed a body. They needed a person in a particular place for 8 hours. And all those 8 hours weren't work. And that's the thing with a business. When you're in your own business, you determine where you're going to be and what you're going to be doing, and you can map it out every single day, what you're going to do. So you could map out all the tasks that it takes to build your business and put it into a 4-hour workday. And then that 4-hour workday, you can actually work that 4-hour workday on weekends and 3 other days a week. So you can have 2 days off on your business, or you can just do, 2 hours on those quote unquote days off, and you'd still end up with, let's say 20 hours, because that'll be 4 times 5, that's 20 hours. And then you can get 2 more hours a day, like on your weekends, your so-called your weekends, which isn't the same. Your weekends could be Mondays and Tuesdays. So that added up will give you about 24 hours a week. So 24 hours a week in your business is a lot. So you can do that while you work your job and build up a good foundation of what you will use to launch into this full time. Once you actually quit your job, you can lay out your standard operating procedures. You can lay out your framework. You can lay out your work schedule. You could have a good routine that you're going to be doing every single day. So by the time you do quit, that's all laid out, and you have a lot of practice at it. And then your standard operating procedures, you could use those SOPs to just hand off to other people to do and pay them to do that. So that frees up even more of your time. So that's the way I would do it looking back, and I think that would be a good way for you if you're contemplating quitting your job. Just don't quit your job too early. Even though I know when I quit my job, I had money, I still quit a little bit too early. Or I should have started laying out the framework and the groundwork for my business. I probably should have laid that out a year earlier. And I should have been really, really clear on what it is I was going to do. So by the time I pulled the trigger and I quit, I was basically just stepping right on into it. I was leaving my job and my schedule there and taking all that time and putting it right into my business. So that's what I would recommend. Just be sure that you start to formulate a good game plan while you're working your job, so that once you do quit, you're actually, again, you're just stepping right over into your business. So once you do start your business, the thing that you really have to nail down is a routine, because you don't have a boss anymore. So you want to have a routine, something that you do every single day that you work. It could be waking up in the morning and taking care of your physical health. That's what I do. I take care of my physical health. I have my time reading the Bible. I meditate, and then I'll start writing. I'll just do content every single day, cranking out the content. And then every morning I'll also have my day already planned out. I have it already there. So I do that the night before. So when I get up, I'm just checking things off. And then you want to have a weekly schedule when you do certain things, like you may have to create videos, you may have to do sales letters, you may have to do some gathering of leads, you may have to do some lead nurturing, you may have to do building your website, you may have to do something like that. Things like that, they have certain days that you do those, certain days of the week that you're actually doing those. And then working with your if you have employees, or you have freelancers that you're working with, or you're just farming work out, you want to have days in which you're dealing with them, but eventually you want to have a project manager who handles all that, and then you touch bases with your project manager. So all of this should be thought about and really nailed before you even quit. So what you can do is just get your notebook, or just a spreadsheet, or just use Google Docs, something like that, to just basically have everything on paper. I like to think on paper and have everything just kind of mapped out. And then when uh, you go to do your work, everything's organized and structured, because that's the one thing too you're going to lose when you leave your job. You're going to lose that structure. That's one thing that's good about a job is you have structure. Everything has its place. All of the employees are where they need to be. Everybody knows their role. And when you have your own business, you have to establish all of that yourself. And it's kind of tough in the beginning, but it's so well worth it. It's like you are the conductor of the orchestra, and you are sometimes the musician as well, but it has a lot of work, it has a lot of moving parts, but that's the fun part of being in business for yourself, because you're calling the shots, but you're also organizing a lot of the main things that happen in your business. But that is where the freedom comes in, and that's where you're able to really utilize the creativity. Because see, so many people look at business as having that freedom, but that freedom is still earned. You still have to earn that freedom. You just choose when you earn it, but you have to earn it. You have to put the work in, you have to put the reps in, you have to continue to do things to build your business and make sure it's going forward each and every day. And ideally, you want that to happen even when you take a few days off and you're not there, your business still keeps growing. That comes down to great systems. So you want to be able to formulate good systems, have a great game plan, and always know what you have to do each and every day in your business. So that way, once you got your framework established, you can be at the point to where you can practice the consistency and the discipline that it takes to really grow and become big. One of the biggest distractions is people will realize that you're in your own business. And when I say people, I mean like family and close friends. So they will they'll look at your freedom as you're not doing anything, because you're not going to a job anymore. So they look at it as like you're not really doing anything. So they may ask you to do certain things for them, which that isn't a bad thing. But you need to have those boundaries that from certain hours, let's say 6 to 10, 6 to 12, 6 to 5, 6 to 4, you're tolling your business and you're available after those times, those time frames, to do whatever they want to do, or to actually associate with them and be with them more. And then your weekends, whatever your weekends are, your weekends, like I said before, could be Monday, Tuesday. So on Mondays, Tuesdays, you can hang out with them or do things with them that they would normally do on the weekends. So you got to let them know that, so that they understand that you are working your business just the same way they're working their jobs, and you'll have time to do things with them, but it's outside of your normal workday. So that's something that can be explained and communicated so that you don't run into areas of conflict. But it's on you to do that, and you really should do that ideally in the beginning. But if you don't know in the beginning completely, or you're it's kind of fluid, and you're kind of establishing good work hours, the hours that work ideally best for you. So that may be fluid, and you may have to continue to change that. But as you change it and get solid in that, and everything gets solidified, then you want to communicate that to other people that you are working from certain hours to certain hours. So that's another big thing. That eliminates a lot of the distractions. And then some of the other distractions are their self-imposed distractions. And that could be things like, the main thing with me was sports. Just wanted to always keep up with sports. And I had to really become disciplined to not do that every single day during certain hours. My peak work hours had to be assigned totally to just working. And it doesn't matter that you're free to kind of do what you want to do. Like, some people would check social media all day, and I didn't necessarily have that particular challenge, but it was sports. So what I would do is I would start, I would look at scores and things like that, or trades, or just whatever, sports news. I would look at it um, way after my business hours. So that would be like maybe one of the things I would do after dinner. Long after my work day is over, I would look at some sports and catch up on it then. And then the other thing is movies, things like that. I really don't watch many movies anymore, and even when I do, it may take me a whole week to watch one movie. So um, that type of thing, I think you'll really grow into that eventually, to where those things won't matter as much to you. At least that's what happened with me. They just don't matter as much to me anymore. Kind of look at it like this. I feel like I'm making my own movie. And as far as sports is concerned, I treat my business like a game. So it's like I'm playing a sport every single day. And I'd rather be more in tune to my game and my progress than I do some sports, some athlete somewhere. So that's kind of the way I handle it now, but it took a little while to get there, but I'm happy to be there now. So I just want to talk from a standpoint of of you, or whoever's starting their own business, but you, if you're starting your own business, I want to talk to you from that mindset, or that frame of mind that I was in when I was in your shoes. So I just think this type of advice will help you. So again, another type of distraction was feeling like I had time to do whatever I want to, because I no longer worked the job and I wasn't answering to anybody anymore. So what I did to get over that was I started thinking in terms of, I don't really have free time. The time that I have is time that I need to be using to build my skills. And I really started to dedicate myself to increasing my skills, the valuable skills, the skills that would pay the bills. Just thought of that one. The skills that would move the needle, the skills that would add value to people's lives. Those are the type of skills that I continue to work on and get better at executing on a daily basis. So that took the place of a whole lot of things, and it became so much of a obsession with me that I didn't have time for a whole lot of other things anymore. And this was what took all of my time and all of my attention, but it was always a labor of love. It still is to this day. It still is a labor of love. So when you think in those terms, and you start thinking in terms of increasing your skills and letting that time fill up your day, you'll have less discretionary time to what I call goof off. And not only will you have less time to goof off, you'll have less desire to goof off. You'll always want to be getting better, and you'll always be looking at your growth and being excited about that. And that's the thing that will really turn you on. Just seeing yourself going from point A to point B, and looking back 3 weeks ago, or 3 months ago, or 3 years ago even, and seeing how far you came, and it will fire you up to make you want to continue to get better and continue to grow. And that will take over and become, right now with me, it really is automatic pilot. I'm always looking for some area in my life, my whole life really, that I can get better at and that I can grow in. And that is what gets me out of the bed every single day, just knowing that I'm improving in some particular area in my life that's gonna help me to be better and help me to bring value to other people in some meaningful way. So you will continue to develop into that if you take on everything I just taught you in this video. If you continue to take on that mindset, you'll see it continue to, it'll take hold in your life too, and things will just be different. So I kind of want to wrap up by saying this. It all becomes a complete package after a while. The way you lived and the way you performed on your job It'll be totally different when you're in business for yourself. You'll realize that you are the one that's dictating your growth because of the inputs that you put into your business. They will eventually pay off. And that's the one thing, I've said this before in other videos, the one thing you can't control is that timeline. However, by putting a whole lot in, a whole lot of good activity into your business and the right activity, you will control it to a certain extent of making it happen faster. You just don't know exactly when it's going to happen, when you're going to see those rewards. But know this, consistent activity over a period of time will yield the positive results that you're looking for. So you may not be getting paid every week like you would in a job or every 2 weeks, but you will be getting paid with your growth and the business that you're building and the digital assets that you're creating. They will pay you over time. But here's the good thing too. They normally and they usually pay you more than you thought they would pay you. And it comes to a point that they pay you even when you aren't working anymore. So that's the whole goal. And I'll wrap it up by saying that just make sure your inputs are consistent, and they are the inputs that your business requires in order for you to have the success that you want and to have the income that you want. So that's it for today. Hope you have a wonderful day, and we will talk soon.